Welcome to the video lecture series of basic electronics module number 1, lecture number 6, LED and the photodiode. Okay. Now in the previous video lecture, we have seen about the normal PN junction diode, and the material used for the PN junction diode is a silicon. The another type of diode is a Zener diode, okay, which works under the reverse bias condition and remains off in forward bias condition. Okay. Now taking into these different types of diode for the consideration, and moving on to the application part, how we can make use of the diode, right? That is, there are different other types of diodes are also available in the market. So the first is the LED, and the another is nothing but it's a photodiode. Okay. When you just see about the LED, okay, the meaning of an LED is nothing but it's a light dependent diode. Okay, based on whenever the light falls on the junction of the diode, we say that yes, the diode is said to be operated. Okay, now for a normal basic diode, okay, if I say that if I have a diode that is which has an anode part and has the cathode part, okay, if I say that this is my PN junction diode, okay, if I say it is a PN junction diode, the number of junction is equal to 1. Okay, now if I say and if I draw the another diagram for the normal PN junction diode, if I say this is a P type material and this is the N type material, okay, and if I connect it to a DC battery over here, okay, then we say that the diode is said to be in forward bias. This is the normal operation of a PN junction diode. Now our diode is something different here, which is nothing but LED. Okay, so what do you mean by LED is nothing but it's a light dependent diode. Okay, light dependent is nothing but whenever the light falls on the junction of this particular diode, then the diode is said to be on, or you can say that the diode is conducting. Light dependent, it is dependent on light. Okay, sorry, this is something like actually it's a photodiode. Okay, but when you take a normal diode, okay, the sorry, LED, so LED will glow, right? Because many LEDs you have seen, right? Different colors of LEDs are available into the market. Okay, that concept is actually it's a photodiode. Okay, whenever the light falls, it will conduct, but here the operation is a bit different. Okay, so LED is nothing but it's a light dependent diode, and in by taking a normal PN junction diode under the forward bias condition, okay, in the forward bias condition means you just apply a DC battery to a diode, okay, or a LED, so it has to glow, right? It has to glow. When it will glow, what is the condition for the light should be emitted? Light emit, that is why the name is given as a light emitting diode. Okay, the diode will emit the light, or you can say that the heat dissipated by that particular diode will be in the form of light. Okay, because light is completely visible, right? Now based on the material which is used, whether it is a fluorescent, whether it is a different other type of chemically built, the color of the light will be varied. Okay, so now here the what actually the light dependent resistance, light dependent LED is nothing but in a forward biased PN junction diode, the recombination of electrons and holes takes place at the junction and within the body of the crystal. That is what, if you take normal PN junction diode, okay, the recombination will be taking place in this particular space. That is called, we call this particular part as a junction part. Okay, so when you try to forward bias is nothing but just apply a battery over here. Okay, positive here and negative here. So the electrons and the holes will try to recombine. Okay, so electrons and holes is nothing but the base, because in P type the holes are the majority carriers and the electrons are minority carriers, right? Similarly in N type, electrons are majority carriers and the holes are the minority carriers. So the recombination of this particular electrons and holes will be done at the junction part and within the body of the crystal. Within the body of the crystal is nothing but if you have seen a normal a LED, right, it has a two pins, right? It has two pins like this. The one with a length which is higher in this LED, we call it as the positive, and this is negative. Okay, this is plus and this is minus, and here inside the construction you can see something, the shape of the LED. So here within, we call this as the body of the LED, okay, which is a crystal. So based on the capturing of the free electrons by a hole, okay, the electrons goes to into the new state, right? New state is nothing but whenever there is a change in the state of electrons, obviously there will be heat will be dissipated. For example, if I say that this is an electron 1, this is electron 2, and this is electron 3, electron 4, right? Whenever there is a movement of electrons takes place, right, we say that there is a charge, right? And what is happening here? There is a kinetic energy. Okay, there is a kinetic energy. Your free electron is changing the position from here to here, here to here, and here to here, right? We call it as this new state of electron. So the new, because of the new state of electron, because of the kinetic energy, what is happening? The heat is getting dissipated in the form of light. Okay, the heat is dissipated in the form of light. So that light will be visible. Now, which type of light? It's a photon. It's a photon. So therefore, whenever you supply a sufficient amount of voltage to the LED, a light will be emitted from this particular LED or the body of the LED, right? So if I say that the maximum voltage for this particular LED is 5 volt DC supply or 5 volt DC, right? So it will be glowing into its high light. Okay, now if I supply something around 2 volt, right, what is happening? The intensity of light will be very low. Intensity of the light will be low. Why? Because there is no sufficient amount of kinetic energy is there in the crystal or the body of the LED, which is emitting the heat, because now heat is directly proportional to the emission of light or the visibility of the light. Okay, so again, it again depends on the type of the material which we try to use. Okay, so in silicon diode, okay, normal, when you take a silicon diode, most of the energy is given off as a heat. Okay, but if you try to take the other materials like gallium arsenide, okay, or gallium phosphate, sufficient number of photons are generated to create the visible source. It means that when you take a normal silicon diode, okay, most of the energy will be given in the form of height. Okay, then it means that there will be more energy, more light. But if you try to change the material, well, then what is happening? Then there may be sufficient photons which are generated out of that, so that the visibility of light may be more. Okay, so this process of emission of light in a PN junction diode by making use of a material of a silicon or gallium arsenide or gallium phosphate is known as electroluminescence. Okay, so which will be dissipated in this particular figure, or you can see in this, when you look at this particular figure, you can see it, right? So if you, this is the diagram for LED. So what you can see here, you can see there are the LEDs which are available. One is P and one is P type material, another is N type material, and these are nothing but the metal contacts. Okay, and if you look at here, we have positive negative, and also positive negative, right? And what about here? Here we have again positive negative, but here we can see that we don't have this particular part. So when you have a sufficient amount of electrons, free electrons, okay, and when because of that particular electron, if there is a kinetic energy and there is a dissipation of heat, then what happens? Then the light will be emitted out of that particular body. So you can see here the arrow marks shows the emission of light from LED. So this is how the normal basic principle behind the LED operation. You just go to just take any of the LED, okay, everything will be same. And this process of emission of light will take a PN junction, okay, of different material is known as electroluminescence. Okay, and the metal contact of P material is made up of a small to permit the emergence of the maximum number of photons, so that it's an LED. Okay, again it depends how much amount of doping is done at the P type and how much amount of doping is done in the N type material. Doping is nothing but adding the impurities. Okay, if you try to add the impurities, then what happens? The state of that particular material may change. Either it can be P type or it can be N type, like pentavalent and trivalent. Okay, so this is how this is what the process which we try to define in LED. Okay, so this is one mechanism. Now we have the another part, okay, the reverse of that particular LED, which is nothing but a photodiode. Okay, so what is photodiode? It's completely reverse. It is completely reverse. We apply light for the light at the junction of the diode, and we try to energize that particular diode, so that the operation of that particular photodiode will take place. So photodiode, LEDs and photocouplers, they are all together are known as optoelectronic devices. Okay, and the optoelectronic devices are the devices that emits light, okay, that emit lights, modify the light and have the resistance affected by the light or the procedure currents and voltage proportional to the light intensity, right? So photodiode, LED and the photocoupler, these are the three different devices. These are the three different electronic devices, okay, or you can say that these are three different diodes where we try to check the emission or how much amount of light is emitted, what is the procedure which we have adopted, and based on the type of material, okay, based on the type of material, how much amount of light will be emitted and how much sufficient amount of light will be coming out of that particular LED or it can be a photodiode, right? Now, when you look at this again, this particular figure here, okay, so this figure shows us the circuit diagram of a photodiode and this is the symbol of the photodiode. Okay, so here you can see I have a one PN junction diode. I have connected a load resistance R, applied positive of the battery to the N type and negative of the battery to the P type. Okay, so what type of operation? It is just like as equal as reverse bias. It is reverse bias. If the negative of the battery is applied to the P type and if the positive of the battery is applied to N type, we say that this particular PN junction is to be operated under the reverse bias condition. Okay, and under the reverse bias condition, there is no any flow of charge of current. There is no flow of current. Okay, and now this again, the material here which we use is either it can be a silicon or it can be germanium. Now, what is the principle of operation over here? That the photodiode is again a PN junction diode. It can be either a silicon diode or it can be germanium diode, in which the light controls the diode current. Light controls the diode current is nothing but here, if you take a PN junction diode, okay, so if this is the P type material and this is N type material, right? Now what is actually happening is I have applied the negative here and positive here. So what about the junction? So the junction which here is not this PN junction diode will have is, it is earlier initially it will be big, or you can say the width of this depletion region will be too large, and if the depletion width of this depletion region is large, we say that there is no any flow of charge will take place through this particular PN junction diode. Why? Because the gap is too large, there is no any flow of charges happening. Okay, it is just like a barrier between the P and N type material. Okay, now what we should do, we should allow the sufficient amount of current such that the diode should be operated, the junction should be operated. So therefore, basically this photodiode is operating under the reverse bias region, and the reverse saturation current should be available thermally. Okay, thermal is nothing but I will apply light. I will apply the external light at the junction part. I will apply the external light on the junction part. Now what will happen to the junction? Okay, the junction, because there is an external emission of light is taking place at the junction part, okay, then the valence electron will cause more electrons hole pair to be released. There will be more hole and pair release of electrons will take place across this particular junction. Now, because of the concentration of the minority carriers, because it is increasing, right? When you try to impose the electrons, or you try to impose the photons at the particular junction, starting only it is having many recombination of electrons and holes pair across the junction, right? So when you try to do that, you are just trying to increase the concentration of the minority carriers. Okay, but does not the there may be possibility that there is no change in the current, right? So therefore the photodiode can be used as a photoconductive devices, because you are trying to operate the photodiode by making use of a photon. Okay, and when it is a reverse bias and when you try to measure the voltage across the photodiode, okay, then the minority carriers will be removed. It is just like flowing back into their original state, coming back to their original state, but with an external circuit. Okay, you need to connect some external circuit across the diode such that the minority carriers will flow back to the again the source, or they can say that you can just supply. Okay, so this is how the photodiode will work. When it is compared with LED, it is different, or you can say that it's completely reverse of that particular diode. So photodiodes can also be called as it can be a photoconductive devices, but only it is in the presence of light. Okay, if you do not apply the light, it is just as equal as your normal p-n junction diode. Okay, so the another name what here we can give is that it is a photovoltaic devices. Okay, photovoltaic devices, and when you try to study the characteristics of the photodiode, you can see here. So output voltage will be increasing, okay, with respect to the reverse voltage, right? So if you are applying the current here, or if you are trying to apply the voltage across the photodiode of very small amount, then you can see there is a small increase in the current. Okay, as you go on increasing the current, okay, by with some cutoff frequency, with some cutoff voltage, okay, then there may be possibility that the high range of current can be obtained across the photodiode. Okay, and another thing is when you try to take the material of the germanium, okay, germanium type of photodiodes, okay, there may be possibility that the overlapping of that particular voltages may happen. Okay, in the sense the range of light frequency which is sensitive to the human may be possible. Okay, and sometimes it may not be also possible, because human eye is not having that particular resistance or the resistivity to observe the lights beyond the normal visible light. Okay, we cannot see the ultraviolet rays, right? We cannot see the gamma rays, neither we can say the x-rays, right? So the human, based on the human high sensitivity, it is designed in such a way that whenever there is a dissipation of heat takes place, there is an observation of light in terms of LED, and whenever we apply the photons, okay, to the junction of a p-n junction diode, there is a flow of charge of current, so that is called as photodiode. Okay, now we have the another type of the diode, okay, or we also call it as photocoupler. Okay, photocoupler, the word itself says that couple is nothing but two, right? So when I try to combine both the devices, that is the LED and the photodiode, what happens here? Okay, so if you look at this particular diagram, okay, this diagram is completely one diagram. Okay, these are not two diagrams, the whole diagram itself is a single diagram. Okay, so in the first part of the diagram over here, okay, if you can see this here, if I say this is a light, you can, if you look at this particular arrow, two arrow marks, if I say that this is a light, then which is photodiode and which is LED here. So this is this diode, we call it as LED because the light is coming from the diode. You can see the arrow mark, and the light, this light, if it is falling on the diode, we say that this is our photodiode. This is our photodiode. Okay, this is how we try to identify the diodes, right? So what is photocoupler? It's a combination of LED as well as and the photodiode. So it's a, we can also call it as it's a package of LED and photodiode. So LED is operated under the forward bias. Okay, we have, as we have seen, but the photodiode is operated under the reverse bias. So LED is operated in forward bias, photodiode is operated under the reverse bias. It means that for forward bias, it will turn on and emit the light. Okay, so once it emits the light, so the light will fall on the photodiode and it will start to conduct, because there is an energy, there is an excess amount of holes, electrons will take place across the junction of that particular photodiode, and then the current will be available, or the output will be available across this resistance R2. When you try to measure the voltage across this resistance R2, you will find the output voltage. You will find the output voltage. Now, what are the advantages of this particular photocoupler? Is nothing but the electrical isolation can be done between the two circuits. Electrical isolation is nothing but if I have connected this circuit number, if I say that circuit number 1 and circuit number 2, okay, if your circuit number 1 is operating very normally, okay, due to the influence of your light, okay, and when there is a change in the input voltage here, and because of the change in the input voltage, if the intensity of this light is getting changed, right, then what is happening to the circuit 2? Your circuit 2 will come under the electrical isolation. It will try to even, because based on the quantity of light which is falling on the photodiode, the operation of the output voltage will be obtained obtained for different values or for different intensity of light. So therefore we may provide some kind of isolation by making use of such circuitry, that is nothing but photocouplers. Okay, and the another thing what the photocoupler is, photocoupler, we require both the things, that is the light as well as the flow of charge. Again, we should take care in this particular photocoupler that there should not be any excess amount of voltage to be provided for the normal diode, or simply you can say that normal LED, because if you are trying to cross the input voltage, there is a possibility that your diode, your LED will burn. Okay, so if this circuit fails, this circuit will also fail. Okay, so this is how the three different types of diodes, that is LED, photodiode and photocoupler, will work with respect to the application part. Okay, so in our next video lecture we will see how again the regulators can be built out by making use of the ICs. Okay, we have different types of ICs, that is the series of ICs, that is LM78XS series. Okay, that XS will represent the voltage values, either it can be either the 5-volt value, or it can be 12-volt, or it can be any other values based on the series part. Okay, so with this I conclude the today's video lecture of the photodiode, photocoupler and LED. Thank you.